Hey guys, ST here. So it's Monday, and it's the last of my early shifts for a couple of days. I'll have Tuesday and Wednesday where I just have my normal 11 to 8, and then Thursday and Friday we'll go back to 2 morning shifts, and then I'm off. Yay, we're almost there. Looking at the downhill slump. So while today's Monday, it's kind of like a Friday, because in a way, it's like I get 2 days off. Anyhow, um, I'm going to talk about Layers of Fear. So, if you guys haven't played it and you don't want to be spoiled, just stop watching the video now. It's pretty much going to be what the rest of the video is about, is Layers of Fear. It's been out for a little while though, so, whatever. I had been waiting to finish Layers of Fear for like a week and a half now, because I had promised my niece and nephew that I would finish it with them watching. And yeah, I know, you're thinking, what kind of person lets a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old watch that game? The kind of person whose sister gives birth to said 6 and 4-year-olds and lets them play Call of Duty Zombies and Left 4 Dead and stuff like that. So, in the scheme of things, Layers of Fear is kind of mild. I mean, there's blood in it, and blood reference, but it's not really, like, it's not Left 4 Dead. So they came over yesterday, and when I got off work, I went home and played the last 2 chapters of Layer of Fear. For those of you who haven't played it, basically it's broken up into 6 chapters, and at the end of each chapter you find what is basically a body part, and you're using it to paint your masterpiece. So, like, your character, everything's done first person point of view. Your character is a painter who kind of lost his mind after his wife was in a terrible, terrible accident that left her disfigured and in a wheelchair. And he lost his mind and kind of lost his ability to paint and just, completely went off the deep end. So then he started using body parts. In the first chapter, you find skin that he talks about having flayed off himself using a razor. And then, let's see, you find skin, you find hair for brush. This isn't in order. Hair for a brush. Okay, in order. You find skin. You find blood. You find bone that you had ground up and mixed with white paint and used it as base coat. You find hair that you used as a brush. And that was as far as I got with the kids present. Yesterday we found a finger that you use for basically finger painting. You're using it for finer details or something. I don't know. Every time you find a body part, the main character kind of rambles a bit about his logic behind getting said body part, and then you put it in the curio cabinet. And the final thing you find is an eyeball to view your masterpieces, because you need an audience. So, 6 chapters, 6 body parts you go through, you find them. Along the way, you encounter the ghost of your wife and various other creepy things in the house that kind of show how just completely off the deep end you've gone. It's a really creepy, spooky game. There are 3 different endings. To get 100% of the achievements, you have to beat every single ending, and the ending I was going for is considered like the best ending, the good ending, only in that your character is trying to become good. He's trying to atone for all the terrible things he's done. And then the final bit of the ending is you throw yourself into a fire because you've realized how terrible you've become. But anyway, so to me that's not really a good ending. It's good morally, but it's not good for your character. The other problem with this particular run through is that basically, to show your contrition, every time you see the ghost of your wife, you have to run towards her. You have to go to your wife to apologize for being so terrible, but of course your wife is pissed off because you were an awful husband and you cut her up into pieces, and so every time you run towards her, she jump scares you and kills you. Although you don't really die in this game, which was part of why I liked playing it. You die, and then you wake up and you can continue the game. You don't actually lose any progress. And you have to do things like, oh, that's the deep dark hole that represents your, wife's hellish existence. Let's hop down there and go wandering around in her hellish world. Yay! Stuff like that. Areas I hadn't been to before, because of course, my first playthrough, I was trying to avoid all the typical jump scary, oh, there's the ghost, let me avoid the ghost. There's a big sign that says, don't turn around. I'm not turning around. But, yeah. So the kids both loved and hated it. Just checking my time real quick. Every time I would come up on a jump scare, I was using a guide to help me remember where everything was and, all the little bits and pieces that I otherwise may have forgotten or overlooked. Like, you have to find all your wife's belongings and then find the little room where your wife is keeping them and all that sort of thing. But, so I had a guide, and I knew when every jump scare was coming. And I would tell the kids, okay, brace yourself, kiddos, cover your eyes, it's about to get scary. The 4-year-old, every single time, oh no, I want to be scared, I'm not covering my eyes. Big bad boy. And then the ghost of the wife would come jumping out and hollering, and he'd holler, and that scared me. I told you that was about to happen. But yeah, they had a lot of fun, and whenever I would come up on the body part, since I had already finished it twice, I knew, what the body parts were, and when I was about to grab one, I'd be like, okay, what do you think this one is? They figured out the finger pretty easy, because it's just laying there in a puddle of black goo, so it was kind of obvious what it was. They didn't figure out the eyeball, because the eyeball was in a jar, you couldn't really see it, and one of them actually guessed pee, which might have been close, because the eyeball's floating in yellow liquid. Could have been urine. I mean, we already had a jar of blood. Who knows? This dude was office rocker. And yeah, and having the kids around helped. There was one part where I was trying to find a violin, and my eyesight's not great. And of course, these sorts of games, they want you to turn the dimness or the lighting, the bright down to give it the suitable atmosphere, but I do that, and then now I can't differentiate between all the different shades of blue or black or brown or whatever. So I was having trouble seeing the violin in the cabinet. But my niece pointed out, oh, it's right there. I'm like, I don't. And she goes, give me the controller. So I give her the controller, and she picks up the violin instantaneously. It's like, thanks, kiddo. Anyway, so we had fun yesterday, and we're coming up on 8 minutes, and I probably should get to work. But I wanted to talk about that a little bit, since I don't normally talk about things. Hope that semi-entertained you. I don't know. I need to do a Let's Play sometime soon when I have the energy and the brain power, neither which I have right now. Okay, let's hey, it's an eye, it's eye in my eye. I'm going. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, because I am working. So until then, SD out. Bye. Bye. Come on. Get.